This week on Knit News Now, a brand new knitting magazine has entered the scene. What was MadelineTosh thinking at Flock Festival? And my exclusive interview with Skacel's new owner, Rob Delmont. All this and more in this edition of Knit News Now. Welcome to KNN, Knit News Now. Your roundup of everything that's happening currently, or at least lots of things that are happening currently in the knitting, yarn, crochet, spinning, weaving, and general fiber arts community. I'm your host, Katie Rempe. Let's get into today's top story. PURL magazine has entered the scene. Available in both print and digital, this is an educational and editorial-forward publication versus the pattern-focused publications of the past. According to their website, PURL aims to be comprehensive, diverse, and filled with knowledge and learning. PURL is not a magazine filled with knitting patterns. There are already so many places to find stunning projects created by wonderful designers to put on your needles. PURL focuses on how and why, on expanding, experimenting, and edifying. PURL does include a few patterns, but those will be there to support the articles that explore yarn, technique, stitches, and skills. So why does this matter? Over the past 10 years, we've seen almost all of our printed knitting magazines fold or go digital only. RIP to Interweave Knits, Pom Pom, Vogue Knitting, Knitters, Knit Simple, and Making Stories magazine, just to name a few. And if you're wondering why this has happened, Making Stories did an amazing article explaining the reason why they closed, and honestly, all the reasons are very valid and likely a lot that consumers themselves may not have considered. So far, the reaction from our community is great. Everyone loves a first issue of something. It's always exciting to see something new. And since it's a little bit different than our previously pattern-heavy publications, perhaps there's more room for this one to really thrive and succeed over time. Their theme for this first issue, fittingly, is beginnings and casting on. If you want to purchase a physical copy now, it will ship after August 10th, or you can get a digital version right now. Each one is $13 individually, or you can get the digital and print together for $15. Or have the even better deal, subscribe for 4 issues, that's how many they put out a year, 1 a quarter. You can get digital plus print for $45, or digital only for $30. That's less than $10 per issue. I don't work for them. My take on this is complicated. I've been in the industry for a long time. I have printed many publications, from magazines to newspapers to books, all in the realm of knitting and crafting. And while I have a deep love of books and the printed material, I found that when I worked at the local yarn store for 3 years, I was pretty much the only one who was very excited to get them. It would be me and then maybe a couple other people. And if somebody found maybe more than one pattern they liked, then they would invest in it, but otherwise they wouldn't. So oftentimes we would end up sending issues that didn't sell back because we could only sell them for a certain amount of time from the publication company. And so we were sending back tens of issues from each one that would not sell. Maybe we'd sell 2. Very sad. So it's not that surprising to me that they've folded. I am surprised to actually see another one, maybe because they're only doing 4 a year. That will help it be more sustainable. So I'm very interested to see how PURL magazine does in the long run. Do you have a subscription? Are you planning to get one? Why or why not? Please share your feedback. So I think the focus away from patterns will actually help this magazine be more sustainable, because you're no longer hoping that people find more than one pattern that makes the purchase worthwhile. It's more like keeping community with all these people who are contributing and liking your craft each quarter. You'll already find great articles from issue 1 from Sarah Shira, who was previously on my Knit a Spell podcast, also Patty Lyons, Kate Atherley, just to name a few. So with so few physically printed knitting magazine, will their unique point of view being more editorial versus pattern help them stay alive? Time will tell, and I'll keep you posted. Next up, Fiber Flash. Headline number 1 comes from this past weekend's Flock Festival. Attendees and fellow vendors are up in arms at the MadelineTosh booth. Not only were the backdrops generative AI, they were also selling project bags with the same generative AI design, inspired by the Pike Public Market in Seattle. While I did not attend this event in person, I did see their Instagram, which initially had photos of the booth to share with everyone. You might find that that link no longer works. They've removed the post since then. The feedback was not kind. Luckily, nothing dies on the internet, and other people attended, so there's other photos like these from Size Inclusive Collective. Seems like they could have just used a picture of their yarn and put it on the backdrop. Probably they already had a photo, so it's an interesting choice. Did you see this at Flock? What did you think? Next up, Ewe Ewe Yarns launches 3 brand new colors across all 4 of their yarn weights. You can now find Sunshine, Persimmon, and Mocha in Fluffy Fingering, You So Sporty, Woolly Worsted, and Baba Bulky. Heather, who is the one-woman show behind Ewe Ewe Yarns, was previously a graphic designer, so she has a great eye for colors and found these 3 would really round out the palette that she had already selected in these really great superwash merino yarns. I look forward to using them in the future, in fact, since I often use Ewe Ewe Yarns in my designs. You can find out more and see all of her colors and yarns at eweewe.com. And finally, Mary and Shelley has just launched a brand new bag. The mini ritual crossbody is now available in 2 new textures. There's the black croc, which just looks so supple and delicious, plus this black and white and blue snake. That's the one I got. And unlike vegan leather, which is a lie and is just plastic that will not last, it's going to flake and chip and smell, real leather is a natural product from nature. And these specifically are made all from dead stock leather. What's dead stock? They're often remnants that aren't large enough for a full production, but are perfect for a more small artisanal company like Mary and Shelley. Using a natural fiber lasts longer. With age, it'll look better, feel softer, unlike those cheapy alternatives, which are just gonna get all funky with time. You don't have to invest that much more to have a higher quality product with Mary and Shelley. I already have 2, so this is gonna round out my trifecta. I even took my casket bag with me as my featured bag the entire time I was in Salem for the Fiber Witch Festival. Fitting, right? They are by far my favorite, most unique, most commented on project bags / purses. Find out more at maryandshelley.com. Let's head on over to Pattern Pulse. One trend I've noticed getting more and more popular over the years is the event pattern. I was reminded of it again as I was scrolling through Instagram, seeing photos from Flock. Everywhere I looked, groups of knitters gathering in the same pattern, taking photos and celebrating the months of making that it took to lead up to this moment. For a lot of people, the project becomes part of the experience. They choose a pattern months in advance, cast on together, cheer each other on through the process, and finally get to wear those finished pieces together. It creates an instant connection before you've even arrived at the festival. And afterwards, it becomes a reminder of all the good times wrapped up in it. As a designer, it is a magical experience to inspire a group of knitters to make your thing. Because here's the secret. Even though everyone starts making the same pattern, no 2 finished garments are ever alike. Different yarns, different colors, different modifications, different details, embellishments. A little personal touch goes a long way in making the project reflect the maker. And so I wonder, have you ever made the event pattern? Is it something you look forward to every year? Or do you prefer to wing it and instead let the festival dictate what you're going to make? I'm curious where you land on this trend. And now, the review desk. Today on the review desk, I have something that might be a little out of left field. It's a crochet hook. Just because I'm a knitter doesn't mean that I also don't crochet or utilize crochet hooks, which is why today I'm talking about these somewhat brand new Ewenicorn hooks made by Addi and available through Skacel in North America. According to their website, the Ewenicorn Crochet Hooks are the latest addition to the Skacel by Addi crochet family. The hooks are complete with a spiral handle crafted from brilliantly colored purple heart wood and are fitted with a smooth anodized pink aluminum shank featuring a patented hook design. They are available in 9 sizes from A through J. So who is this for? Well, obviously it's for crocheters, but honestly, it's for anyone who utilizes yarn. Hooks are useful in so many ways over so many crafts. What stood out to me is their super light weight. While I was at the Fiber Witch Festival, I shared these hooks with fellow crocheters, and that was the #1 feedback. They could crochet longer without feeling the weight and tension of the repeated process. And come on, how cute are they, right? Before you buy, you might be interested to know that I was initially concerned that this spiral was going to be a bit of wear on your fingers, like maybe it was going to cause some blistering or some uncomfortableness if you were crocheting really fast, but I have used this for projects since then. It's been about 6 months since I've had them, and I've never had one problem. My final thoughts are this. I love them. However, I think maybe this color could be a turnoff for some people, which is really a shame because they're a great product. So if that's the only thing that's holding you back, I encourage you to just invest in one, your favorite size, and just see if you can get over the color enough to really enjoy the experience. Let me know if you've tried these Ewenicorn Crochet Hooks for yourself. This week's Lantern feature is my exclusive interview with the brand new owner of Skacel, Rob Delmont. Rob and I have known each other since 2015, when I joined the Skacel team. We worked together until I left in 2020 to start Light from Lantern, and we've been friends ever since, so I'm excited to talk about this new chapter for the company. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. No, I'm super excited for the opportunity. Always good to see you. I'm looking forward to having some fun.
I'm sure people are probably curious, how did you end up working at Skacel in the first place?
No, it's a great question. It's actually a question I get asked a lot. Men in our industry are more rare, especially men that have been in the industry for as long as I have. I had just left a job that I thought was going to be, maybe connected to my forever job with Microsoft, and I had nothing lined up. I was essentially responding to ads in the newspaper back when, one, that's where you could find your job, and two, there were newspapers, right? So
people would answer.
People would answer, absolutely. And it was a phone, not an email. I reached out to a number of the ads, and one of them was for a sales coordinator for Skacel Collection Incorporated. Didn't say anything more than that, so why not? Reached out. They got back to me. I actually interviewed with Hans and Ingrid. And if funny enough, I was actually interviewing to replace Karin Skacel at the time. Who was going to do some other things. They brought me on, and I've never left.
There you go. For those of you who don't know, Hans and Ingrid are the ones that started Skacel, who brought Addi needles over from Germany to the North American market, and Karin is their daughter. And so Karin was previously the owner, and now it is Rob, of course. So before we get to that, though, sounds like you've probably worn a lot of hats over almost 30 years of working there. Can you walk us through some of those positions over the years?
Yeah, so when I was first hired, I was hired as sales coordinator. The idea was to be one of the first individuals that customers would contact in order to place orders. One thing that I did that we still do is anytime a new team member comes aboard, we always start them in shipping, so they can touch the product, see what the product looks like, see where it's located, get the idea of how the process works from the moment the order is placed until it goes out the door. So I got to ship, as you alluded to, wearing many hats. No matter what your position is in a company, you're always going to be something else, and it's always a very important something else. And then from there, I moved to general manager. As I kind of proved myself, and it showed them that I could do other things. I started attending trade shows, creating flyers, working on the website. I started doing the email blasts. From there, I transitioned to director of sales and marketing when Karin came back to take ownership of the company. And then after that, to president. It's been a journey. But I can honestly say I've done everything here, and I've loved every bit of it.
And so why did Karin decide now is the time to change ownership?
Yeah, that's a great question. Obviously over the years, it was something that, I had kicked around in my mind. Would I ever want to? Could I ever? And I figured when the time was right, we could enter into those discussions. I think it just got to the point where, she had become a grandmother twice over. She really, was to that point in her career where she wanted to, she dedicated so much time to work that she got to the point where she realized, there are other things in life that she'd like to dedicate her time to, family, again, the grandchildren. And I think she felt comfortable knowing that there was an opportunity. Should we be able to make it work? If an opportunity wasn't there, would this have happened? I'm not sure.
Entirely possible that if you weren't interested, there would be no Skacel?
I think there would always be a Skacel. It would just be different.
Then what does it mean for you to carry on this company that's been such a fixture, not just with our industry, but in your life personally?
Obviously, the opportunity to add my own chapter to the story that Ingrid and Hans and then Karin created. Even though I've been here the majority of the time, it wasn't my story to write. And now I have that opportunity. But the ability to keep this company independent was huge. The ability to keep this company family owned. Now, I am not related by blood, but I feel like and have always been treated like part of the family. And, I have a family, my wife and I, and then a lot of furry babies. But so keeping it independent, keeping it family owned, and keeping everybody here employed and investing in their future as well was extremely important to me. I'm lucky to be able to do it.
So what's something about this transition that people may not realize have happened behind the scenes?
To be perfectly honest, the transition was very smooth because you're going from an individual that's been with the company, a 40-year-old company, for 30 of those 40 years almost. It was a fairly easy transition. Behind the scenes, the biggest hurdle was keeping it quiet. Not just keeping it quiet from people outside of the company, but keeping it quiet internally. In a small company, you can't hide anything. I know when so-and-so is going to the bathroom, right? So
his office is right by the bathroom.
Exactly. To be fair, some of the changes that needed to take place, having to hide those without feeling like you're lying to your team is very difficult. And I was able to to get through it, but it was tough.
What do you think the fiber industry needs right now?
My knee-jerk answer is more crafters. Don't lose focus on the next generation because they are going to be our knitters, our crocheters, our spinners, weavers of the future. We always need more. We need to teach. We need to pass it on. I think education is a big thing that this industry needs as well, not just ongoing education to help teach people how to craft, fill in the blank, but also teach businesses within the crafting industry how to business. So many people in this industry get into this industry because they have a love for what they do. I'm a knitter. I love to knit. I want to open a yarn shop. Wonderful. Do you have any business experience? No. Do you have a partner that does? No. Can you educate yourself? It's all of these things. We get so excited about what we love and what we want to do that we forget about the important pieces to build a strong foundation for a business. So I think education for business owners is important, and I think also stay strong. I know right now there's a lot going on in the world that can affect all industries, but our industry as well. Rising costs around the world affect prices. Rising tariffs, duty, fuel charges, all of these things affect prices, affect our ability to sell. They affect the retail customers' ability to buy. It's a symbiotic relationship. This industry is a strong industry with a lot of creative people. There's a few answers for you.
In a year from now, what do you hope we'll be celebrating for the company at that point?
Wow. Well, one thing I'm excited to celebrate for the company in a year from now is our 40th anniversary. So we opened our doors in 1987, July of 1987. So July of next year will be our 40th anniversary. So, you can rest assured that we're going to do some fun things in 2027 here with the team, with the company, with our customers, our vendors. So I'm really looking forward to that. Really looking forward to so many of these seeds that we've been planting to start to sprout and blossom. We're doing so many fun things behind the scenes, top secret.
Rob, what's your favorite Skacel product?
Oh, wow. That's it's like,
Pick your
well,
favorite
yeah,
baby.
Who's your favorite child? Exactly.
That's
Well,
right.
Yeah.
But
I
pick
don't-
the best one.
I don't have a favorite. No.
Yeah, right.
To be perfectly honest, I mean, I've had so many favorites over the years. It's a very difficult question to answer, but what I can tell you is my favorite thing is the process of coming up with an idea, whether it's a product or some sort of new promotion we're doing, naming it, going back and forth with the mills, designing the packaging and creating, its place on the website and the shade cards and the designs to rolling it out at a trade show. That's my favorite because it's never ending. A product can start and finish, but process of creation is it's infinite.
What's one thing that people would be surprised to learn about you?
Oh boy. Within the industry that I actually do know how to knit, I'll be the first person to say, you're not going to catch me sitting around knitting all the time. It is not my hobby. It's not what I do when I go home. But I do know how to knit. So anytime we get a new tool, I play with it to see how it works. If it's a new yarn, I like to cast it on. Again, I'm not prolific. I'm not a designer. But I think a lot of times you see men in the industry and they don't know what they're talking about. You have to know what you're talking about. If you don't, you're not going to survive in the industry. Outside of the industry, oh boy, I have a problem with shoes and buying shoes, right? I have 2 feet, but
We have stock in Zappos,
right?
though.
Yes. But for some reason, I just can't stop buying shoes. If I carried a purse, I would probably have a problem with purses. I have a problem with hats, accoutrements, maybe. So
He's well accessorized.
yes, it's the addiction to accessories.
Is there anything you'd like to say to the knitting community as you begin this new chapter as the owner of Skacel?
Thank you for your continued support, and just wait for some of the fun things we have in store. We've always been a creative company, and that is not going to change.
Tell us how they can follow Skacel, keep up to date, all that fun stuff.
Can I do this? Is this a thing? Like, follow the links below, or is it?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's
I've
above,
al-
it's
no,
below.
I've
You can
always-
point somewhere, I'll just put something there.
I've always wanted to do that, so I appreciate it. No, in all honesty, go to our website, skacelknitting.com. From our homepage, you can find all of our socials. We have newsletters that you can sign up for. And then if you're ever here in the Kent, Washington area, come in and check us out.
Rob, thank
Yes.
you so very, very much
Yeah.
for giving us all the tea on the new business and what's to come for Skacel.
I'm excited to see what you've got cooking up for everybody in the future because this is fun.
If you have any questions for Rob or anything that I should follow up with him, please leave a comment. And now, Community Corner. This event was brought to my attention via a comment in the last video from Jessica sharing about the Lambton Festival coming up in October. According to their website, this festival is California's largest sheep and wool event. The festival itself runs from October 3rd and 4th. However, workshops will begin on the 1st. Hosted at the Dixon May Fairgrounds in Dixon, California, this will be their 40th anniversary. Wow! You can get a weekend pass for just $25 or stop in on Saturday for $20 or Sunday for $15. Parking is free and kids 12 and under also get in free. They also have camping available right in the grounds, so if you want to be super conveniently located to have the best shopping experience possible, that's an option for you. There's a ton of workshops, contests, and vendors to enjoy. Learn more at lambtown.org. Thanks for sharing that tip, Jessica. That's it for this edition of Knit News Now. As always, you can find links to everything mentioned in this video in the description. If there's something happening in your local fiber art community, I'd love to know and help you promote it. Just drop me a comment or send me an email to knitnewsnow@gmail.com. It might just show up in a future episode. Thanks for watching and subscribing, and I'll see you next time.